Salvete discipuli. In this video, we will learn the forms and use of the imperfect and perfect tenses. Okay, so let's begin learning the forms of the imperfect and perfect tenses. Servi perviam ambulabant. The slaves were walking through the street. Okay, so when you see this bant ending, it's translated were walking. Okay, the NT is what makes it plural, but the BA, okay, the BA is the mark of the imperfect of the verb, and it's was doing singular, were doing plural. Okay, so let's review our forms. Ambulat, present tense, he, she, or it walks. Ambulabat, he, she, or it was walking. And again, the names of these tenses are: present tense is something that happens now, walks. Imperfect tense is something that happened in the past in a continual fashion. Okay, so was walking. And the plural of it, ambulabant, they were walking. Number 2. Canis subito latravit. Suddenly a dog barked. Okay, so latrat is the present tense. Canis latrat, the dog barks. The imperfect would be canis latrabat. The dog was barking. Again, the names of these tenses: present tense, action right now, that's what we've had until today. Imperfect tense, was barking. And then what we have here in this sentence, canis latravit, the dog barked. Perfect tense. Okay, so the name of it is perfect tense, but really perfect tense just means the simple past tense. Now, notice we have a V here. Okay, so for the time being, when you see a V added to a verb, it's going to make it perfect tense, and that means you're going to translate it as simple past tense. In stage 7, we're going to learn that perfect tense is a little more complicated than just adding a V. There are some irregular perfect tenses where it doesn't have a V, it has other changes. But for today, it's enough for you to see the V and know that that is a mark of the perfect tense, because at least half of the verbs in Latin are going to form their perfect tense that way. Servus ambulat, servus ambulabat, servus ambulavit. Okay, so here again now, this is all the forms we've learned so far. Present tense, ambulat. Imperfect, ambulabat, was walking. And servus ambulavit, the slave walked. So again, BA is the mark of the imperfect, and for the time being, V is the mark of the perfect tense. Otherwise, you notice they still have the same T that you've become accustomed to. The T tells you that it is he, she, or it doing an action. Number 3. Grumio canem timebat. Grumio was fearing the dog. Okay, so timet would be fears. Now timebat, was fearing. Number 4. Pestis clamavit coquus. Okay, if clamat means shouts and coquus means the cook, and you can guess that pestis means pest, here's what we need to do. Now we look and we say, oh look, this isn't clamat. If this was clamat, I'd be translating it as shouts. Instead, I look and I say, oh, look, here's a V. A V. That's the mark of the perfect tense, which I translate as simple past tense. In other words, pest shouted the cook. And clamabat, what would that be? Think about it. Was shouting. Number 5. Clemens erat fortis. Clemens was brave. Okay, so est, we may recall, was he, she, or it is. Okay, so est is present tense. Erat is new to us. He, she, or it was. Now, erat is actually the imperfect of this verb. Every other verb besides erat has the BA that I told you is the mark of the imperfect. Okay, so it is still very convenient to learn BA means imperfect, but just remember the single exception. Erat is the imperfect of the verb to be. It means was. The plural, just like you would expect, is erant. They were. Number 6. Sed canis clementem superavit. Okay, so if superat means he, she, or it overpowers, how would we translate superabat and superavit? We look at the bat and we think, oh, that's the imperfect marker. We look at superavit. Oh, the V. That means perfect. Imperfect is going to be was doing an action. The V is going to mean did an action. And so superabat was overpowering. Superavit overpowered. But the dog overpowered Clemens. Number 7. Quintus perviam ambulabat. Quintus was walking through the street. Number 8. Juvenis clamorem audivit. So juvenis means young man. It's referring to Quintus. Clamor means uproar. Now audit means hears, but that's not what we have here. We don't have audit. We have audivit. And so again, you say, I know what that V is doing. That V is the marker of the perfect tense, which means I translate it as regular past tense. Put it all together, and it means the young man heard the uproar. Number 9. Canis clementem vexabat. If vexat means bothers, vexabat would mean the dog was bothering Clemens. Number 10. Quintus canem pulsavit. If pulsat means hits, but that's not what we have here. We have pulsavit. We convert that to the past tense. Quintus hit the dog. Number 11. Servi erant laeti. The slaves were happy. And there again, erant is the plural version of erat. And finally, number 12. Servi quintum laudaverunt. The slaves praised Quintus. Now look at here, people. Laudavit is the singular, he, she, or it. But look at this form. Laudaverunt. Okay, this erunt ending is the plural ending when you have a perfect tense verb. Okay, so it's a 5-letter ending, erunt. Okay, and that's going to mean some plural, whether it's they or it's a plural like servi. The slaves praised Quintus. Okay, so let's review everything we have learned. Quintus ambulat, present tense. Quintus ambulabat, Quintus was walking, imperfect tense. Quintus ambulavit, Quintus walked. Okay, so those are the singular forms, t, bat, and wit. Now let's look at plural. Servi ambulant, the slaves walk, present tense. Servi ambulabant, the slaves were walking, imperfect tense. And servi ambulaverunt, the slaves walked, perfect tense.